Hello and welcome to Look Who's Talking. We can't really be bothered with this one because that was easily the worst episode of the season and maybe the worst of the revival, or at least one of the worst. Strong contender.
I think that's slightly too harsh. I don't think it was in the Forest of the Night level. I don't necessarily think it was.
But it's a contender. Like, that will consistently be towards the bottom of lists, I think.
I think what it reminds me of more is something like Partners in Crime, which I know season 4 is beloved by a lot of people, but it just felt flat to me. There was nothing really to get excited about. There was nothing really of note in that episode. It was more, an episode like Love and Monsters, which I love. Even the people who hate it, it's like almost, oh, that's laughably bad because you've got Zorbeloff, you've got like...
There was nothing even memeable in this.
No, it was just boring. It was actually just boring. So let's break it down. But we'll try and go through it.
I realise we haven't said the name of the episode. I mean, you'll probably see by the thumbnail, we hope. But if you shoot from the hip and you just like to click on videos without seeing what they are, is it the Tsuranga Conundrum?
Tsuranga Conundrum?
The Tsuranga.
I don't know. The point. So, oh, this is difficult. This really is difficult.
Yeah, I just feel like,
Anyway, so the episode obviously starts on a hospital. The doctor...
It starts at that junkyard, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, that junkyard.
Yeah.
I don't really know what even they're hunting for. It's just something that they're...
It's just the MacGuffin to get them off the planet, and then they end up going to a ship, but it's really 4 rooms.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about straight away about that. That felt so cheap. So cheap. I'll tell you, what it was the corridors were just white, and a white aesthetic can really work. Like, we've seen that in Amy's Choice, but that's so white. Whereas that was more like, hey, let's Google, if I just Google cool spaceship texture, and I just CMP that around and go, oh, that's cool, that'll do.
The problem for me wasn't the aesthetic, it was more that I didn't get the feeling it was a ship at all. It felt like a set of rooms, and then we'd occasionally cut to outside to see what was happening. Like, for example, when the pilot, I mean, we'll get to this later when we talk more about the narrative, but when the pilot was controlling the ship, I was like, why are they just like, I can't see what they're seeing, there's no tactile response to what they're controlling with the ship. Like, you look at something like in episode 2 in The Ghost Monument, when they're crashing those shuttles, you feel like they're in a cockpit, like there's stuff happening around them, you feel like there's a response to what's happening outside, whereas this, I was like, what's happening? It feels like a bunch of rooms. It feels like a set.
Absolutely did. So for me, I knew this was going to be bad, and this sounds really cynical because I don't normally like to write episodes off, but I knew this was going to be bad about 15 minutes in, because it opened with, for me, one of the most unlikable B characters in a very long time, this irritating doctor, where basically the first 15 minutes were the doctor running, and him going, wait, I need to tell you something, and then her going, well, this isn't correct. Yes, because if you'll just listen to me, so that goes on for like 15 minutes. So all this guy is doing is going for 15 minutes,
Also,
and then
he was terrible.
Yeah, he was awful.
I think he's a CBBC presenter, so he's not. I don't think he's like an actor.
But it was just that, and then he gets ejected, and you have that really weird scene where he's like, you can do this. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, I've always believed in you.
Yeah. Tell her what's going on.
And then she cries and she's like, he's the only person who ever believed in me, including myself. I'm like, who are you? I don't know you.
Yeah, you're telling us their relationship. You haven't really shown us what are they about.
Also, like, tell me 2 character traits about those people. Who are they?
He's bad at lying, apparently. When he said that, I was like, yeah, you are, because you're a bad actor. Like, this is horrendous.
So, bad acting. So I thought he was going to take the bad acting award, but then the pregnancy, that joke that he does when he's like, no, avocado, he would get bullied. And I almost felt like at times, because he didn't seem to be able to look them in the eye, and I'm thinking that basically he's probably like someone on production's cousin, and someone was just holding some cue cards, and he was just going... Because there was no... it's so hard to do an episode like this because it's both so uninteresting, and yet I don't want to spend this whole video just being like, oh, it sucks.
No. And I hate to an extent laughing and being a bit smug about like, oh, this episode sucked. But, it's the BBC. A lot of people pay licensing fees for the BBC directly. You know, you've got Chris Chibnall show running it, who wrote this episode. Who's casting some of these actors? Like, they should be fired.
Well, part of me is thinking, because didn't Matt Streb... I'm completely happy to be corrected in the comments here. I probably don't have time to fact check this in this video, but isn't Matt Strevens, isn't his background kind of soaps as well?
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a case that something... Because a lot of these actors are coming from EastEnders,
I know, but it's like, we deserve better from Doctor Who. Like, isn't it one of our biggest exports TV-wise, like with like Top Gear? It's like, you know, you should be pumping more money into it and more effort into it. Like, this is frankly not good enough. It's a stinking episode.
And also, so it's just like really like weird things with the plotting. So we were talking about this earlier. So you have in this scenario, you have the man who's pregnant, but the Pating, we'll talk about Pating in a bit.
Oh,
but
God.
The Pating isn't ever going to go to that room, so the pregnancy has no tension.
No.
Then you've got the pilot thing where she's ill, I don't really care, there's no
No,
tension.
yeah,
then you've got
yeah.
them guarding the area, and she wraps it in a towel, which completely removes the whole,
Yeah,
this is the
yeah,
most
yeah,
dangerous
yeah.
creature in the world. I wrapped it in a towel and kicked it.
And they just made really weird decisions around it. Like, for example, when the Doctor walked right up to it to scan it, and then she was like, "Oh, it ate my Sonic." It's like, yeah, of course it did, because you like stuck your pen in its face. Like, of course it's going to do that.
The problem I really had here was that, as well with the Doctor, what was she really bringing?
No. I think she felt really secondary to the whole thing. There was a moment where the ship captain was saying what they should do, and she was responding to all of it. And I was thinking, the Doctor should be the one saying her dialogue. It should be swapped around. She's not controlling the situation whatsoever.
Again, we talked about this in our debunking of Rosa. Like, again, you have that thing like, oh, you're Captain such and such. You're from insert made-up scientific techno jumble that I've just made up on the spot. You're from the Klaxon Wars. You were a commander. It's like, hello, exposition.
Yeah.
Hello there. This is, like, it's not sufficient backstory. I've not seen this... You need to see a character prove themselves in their environment. So just telling me that she's a legend and one of the most noble characters, like, I don't care. None of these people have I
But I think, again, that's always the fear I have with these one-parters. It's like we're cramming so much in. But also, like, nothing happened. Like, what is the elevator pitch for this episode? It's Alien, but also the creatures from Lilo and Stitch. And I love Lilo and Stitch. It's a great movie. The creature's really cute, but I do not want to see Stitch chasing after the Doctor and trying to kill her for 40 minutes.
And you know what? It wasn't even trying to kill her. That revelation as well, that was just terrible. Like, again, so like you have this big moment, it's all underscored, and she's like, oh, it's eating energy. So
yeah.
There was no. I don't mean so in like a snarky way. That's boring. I'm more just like, how did that change what they were going to do? Really, all it did was give them an excuse to have an object for it to throw after. But if it was just like, they could have just gone, oh, we need to. It just likes to eat metal.
Yeah, it needs to be something that changes how they're going to take it out. And also, when they took it out, there was no issue there. What was it? Like, she threw the detonator out or whatever into the airlock. It followed in. She closed the door. It was ousted. Job done. Like, where's the tension if they're getting the plan right?
And like, I knew there was something really off about the pacing. So it comes in, and then immediately you've got it's coming, it's destroying the thing, and this scene that just felt like a lame retry. I mean, like, it's Alien, isn't it? This is what this episode was. It's just Alien. And unlike something like, which I think is a great two-part, Time of the Angels, Flesh and Stone, which is Aliens, that's not like Aliens. In all it is in a sense is, oh, I've comparatively taken the template of let's get 100 things rather than one thing. Yeah. I make it action-orientated. This was just
It shows
Alien.
how important the geography is to something like this, because in Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, you feel they're working their way through the catacombs, up to the ship, then they're working their way through the ship, and then they come into contact with the
simulated tree environment.
No, what's it called? The Cracking Time. There we go. It escaped me completely. Whereas in this, they're jumping around these rooms. You've got, towards the end of the episode, the man giving birth. You've got them trying to get rid of Stitch, and then you've got the pilot. Why is that all happening in the same room?
I was going to say, that would have
Stitch
improved.
Not bearing down on them whilst he's giving birth?
Also, that could have added so much tension, because you'd have Yaz protecting the outer rim still.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, maybe there needed to be a higher body count or something.
It should have been a threatening creature. Like, I have no problem with a cutesy creature in Doctor Who. You know, it doesn't always have to be super threatening, and that can be interesting, but this was not the episode for it. Like,
No.
the adipose are funny. I mean, they're a bit hokey, but like, they're funny because people are dying and it's not their fault. It's a human
But also, they're just
evil.
There was nothing to take home from it. Like as you said, there's no elevator pitch, but not just that. Like other than the only so like just before we completely bury this piece of trash, like there were a few good moments. Ryan's conversation with Yaz was really nice. Him and Bradley having a quick like knowing moment when they work together again. I feel like that's the dynamic now. We're going to keep pushing them together. That was nice. I actually think, contrary to what we said in the first episode, I actually think Ryan has developed considerably.
Yeah. Whereas Yaz has done nothing.
Which I was about to say, which brings me to my main criticism. Where was Yaz?
Well, there was like a good 15 minutes at the start of the episode where we were both like, has she even spoken, really?
Yeah, and I counted it. I think it was like for 10 minutes, I think she said like 2 lines. Graham had absolutely nothing to do as well. It felt like Ryan... How do I put this? Ryan, they spend a lot of time developing, but some of the strands feel a bit inorganic. It's like a lot of the time the beats in the episodes are like, the characters only feel like they're there to facilitate Ryan, which is a good storytelling technique, but it's like, there's so many other elements. So it's like, I like the pregnant man conceptually because he's there for Ryan to have this overcome and you find out about his dad.
Yes.
So why do we need the siblings? And then why do we need this? And why do we need that? Let's just have the pregnant man. And let's just, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing that I keep... It's Beast Below again, as I said in week 1. It's that same. You've got some good elements, and there's so much shit thrown at the wall, and you're just not all of it's sticking. Yeah,
because the pregnancy could have been its own episode, and you could have actually given time to that. The Stitch thing, I guess, could have been its own episode, maybe in a different kind of tone.
But on a hospital, it's like it's all just. This whole thing, it's like my first sci-fi, isn't it? It's like, what if it's okay, so like, let me just think. It's it's a common building that we recognise in space. So, you know, space toilets.
There's one creature, it's causing disruption, we need to stop it. That's your concept for the episode. Like, Moffat, love him or hate him, a lot of his concepts could be feature films. I wouldn't want to see this as 90 minutes. It doesn't have enough legs.
No, and it's not... It's not even tea-timey
either.
Like, it could have gone the complete other way. Like, I'd have loved to have almost seen it play for laughs. Where was the thing coming up and Graham making, like, jibes and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, which you got last week in Arachnids in the UK.
Yeah, Arachnids... You know what? This is exactly, for me, what made Arachnids in the UK work, and this didn't work. Arachnids in the UK had a fun, campy concept, and it knew it was fun and campy.
Yes.
This was like, am I serious? Am I comedy? And why didn't they... They could have midnighted the creature, not that that's original because midnight already exists. There's so many opportunities for...
They could have made it threatening. Yeah. There was no tension. I don't know where it is. It drops out of you know, the episode for minutes at a time, and I'm like, should we care?
Also, as we said on the geography, one of the most, for me, weird geographical bits is, so they're running to those 2 escape pods. They're running, and then he's got an amount of... One thing that really stuck out with me, he's like, oh, we've only got this amount of time before I'm ejected, right? Obviously, she's not going to make it, but I'm thinking, actually... What is the timescale of her to run back? Obviously, I'm not saying that each episode should start with a detailed floor plan, so I know exactly where something is.
No, but if something's shot in a good way, a la Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, then you don't need a floor plan.
Actually, as well, just to like give Moffat some more credit, Blink. You know the dimensions of the house. You know exactly. So they're moving through the house and then they go to the basement. It's like geography's hard sometimes when you're dealing with sci-fi, but it's really easy to thread in where the people are. And it's like, who are your major players? Like, I was so surprised that no one died because so many people felt like cannon fodder.
Yeah. It should have... Oh, well, the captain dies, but not because of the creature.
No, exactly.
I think it should have been a long ship, and it should have been room by room by room by room. Because you want the creature to be getting closer and closer to them, and to the point where... As I said earlier, everything converges. When it's all dotted around and everyone's split up, it's like, where's the tension? I don't care. I don't know what this pilot has to do to dock the ship correctly or whatever. I don't care about her relationship to her brother. I don't care about the pregnant man because he was a bad actor as well, as you say.
Yeah.
All the lines that they were delivering, I'm like, they're not necessarily bad lines of dialogue, but they're not delivering them in a way that makes me care.
It was that thing I said to you that I think this episode, Chibnall's actually been really good at this, and it just felt a bit off, is he's really good at those emotive moments, right? But again, right, so you've had all this tension with the creature, you've had all this, it gets resolved, and everything's fine. And then all the very special conversations take place between the B characters, like the sign-off at the end, between, was it the captain, and like Ryan and the man having that chat about like parenthood. I'm like, why wasn't that happening? I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I just don't understand how to write conflict or how to write tension. I don't know, like I'm sure you guys are going to give me some reasons that maybe this doesn't work, but just in my opinion, why are all these conversations not happening as the tension's amped up? I'm under a lot of adrenaline ergo, obviously she couldn't have adrenaline, but
Yeah.
whatever. I'm under a lot of tension, so here's my moment to tell you what I really think. It's a cliche drama thing, but then when you actually take it outside of it, and everything's been resolved, why are they suddenly having these conversations?
Yeah.
And it's not like when in Arachnids in the UK say they beat the monster together, and then Ryan and Graham say, share a knowing look. And it's
Yeah.
like, yes, of course,
Yeah.
because we're relieved, and that experience has brought us closer. It's more like, we've had the experience now, hello, I need to resolve
Yeah.
other story conflicts.
The creature left a few beats too early. It's like as soon as the creature's gone, it's like, well, I guess we're fine.
And again, what's it going to do? It's just going to cause more havoc. The second they said it was
Yeah.
unkillable as well, so we've had... they've always
Again, it's like Stitch, and I think they call it experiment something. Or it's not a pating at first. They call it something else, and they say it's commonly known as a pating or
terrible
something.
name as well.
Yeah,
You know
all
what-
the names have been terrible.
Yeah, when he did that reveal as well, when he was like, here are some names to look forward to, I was like,
Yeah.
really? Is that your big pitch? There's some cool names,
Yeah.
because like we've had the Uxo.
The
and
Stenza. Tim Shaw, I don't mind because it's
Funny.
a gag.
Yeah.
And then
It just feels like,
it's just forgettable names.
you know what it is? It's like playing a Generation 6 Pokemon game. And it's like the old Doctor Who villains had really cool names like Pikachu and Squirtle, and now it's just like these random names and things that I don't care
It's
about.
when it's stuff that like just doesn't hit. I'm touching my microphone. I apologise. It's when stuff hits the ear strangely. Like Dalek sounds fine. Like it probably sounded like as silly as it does to us to say pating
Yeah.
now, maybe, possibly, but pating sounds
No,
stupid.
you know what it is, right? So I'm making a really bad 60s comic book TV show a la Adam West Batman. Pating is the thing that
yeah,
splashes up as I
yeah,
flick you in the face.
Yeah.
It sounds like something in like a comic book that, like, you know what I mean, like kapow. It's like calling your villain kapow or
Yeah.
pachoo. It's just a non.
Yeah.
And like it takes away all the threat. I mean, like, let's just go through it. It looked like Stitch. It looked like the Crazy Frog. It
It did look a bit like the Crazy Frog. Yeah.
Oh no! Actually, imagine if like its actual threat level, they were like, oh no, and then it's just like it wants us to download the ringtone. So it wants to play premium. Like it's just it's a space advert.
They can't see it because it's so fast, but they can hear the Crazy Frog theme.
Yeah,
That's how they know it's
and it's
coming.
like what's actually happened is Jamster are annoyed that all ringtones are free now. So it's like how do we get rid of it? Oh, it's saying we need to download.
It's been hibernating ever since 2003, waiting till the 67th century.
I know this is completely unrelated to Doctor Who, but I always wonder, like, someone's got a Crazy Frog tattoo, haven't they? Someone's got one. Someone was like when it came out, someone was like, oh yeah.
I get that now.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
they got
timeless.
it on their arse in Magaluf, and now they can't afford to get it removed. And they're like, that's just what their life is.
Is there
now.
something you want to tell me?
Yeah, no, I have a Sweetie the Chick one because I'm more, you know, for all you, what were they called? I keep saying Napster. Was it Jamster? I don't know what they were called. Have a milk on me if you know what that company was called. But.
Yeah, I just it just makes me sad to watch something like this where it feels like there's no enthusiasm behind the camera. So why do we have enthusiasm?
I mean, that's why I'm wearing shorts today because I literally.
Yeah, why should you bother wearing trousers?
Yeah.
You know? Chibnall didn't bother to wear his metaphorical trousers when he was writing. That got away from me.
It
Didn't make any sense.
I just
We couldn't be bothered to film this for like a good half an hour because it was just like, what do we say? It's all negative.
It's just one of those things. Like I imagine people are watching this, they're just dicking on it, and like
Yeah, we are dicking on it, but also
there's nothing.
we deserve better from Doctor Who. And also, I think the pilot. Sorry, not the pilot. We got comments from that last week. The Woman Who Fell to Earth was good, and it alleviated all of my fears that Chibnall was bringing to it. And I thought, this feels fresh, this feels cool. And then since that, it's not quite lived up to that. It's not been the same.
You know what
standard.
though, Russell T Davies, right? You actually go through some of his seasons. He wrote some of the shockers in his time, and he also wrote some great episodes. You know what I mean? Like this is the man who can go from like the Long Game, Boone Town, and the Adipose, and then give us Midnight. And like, you know, and
Parting of the Ways
and stuff.
Yeah.
And so maybe, you know, I think it's been weird structurally that we've had almost essentially 5. Obviously, Mallory Blackman wrote episode 3, but it was with Chibnall. So we've had like 5 Chibnips episodes in a row, and like they're just not. like now we've got this other back end of the season, which I'm excited to because it's all new writers. There could be new. There could be a new Stephen Moffat sitting in this season where they come back. Or like remember when Jamie Mason and Phil Ford came in for Series 8, and we were like, oh my god! And then like each time Jamie Mason would be dropping an episode, you'd be like, that looks amazing.
Did Phil Ford do Series 8?
Not Phil Ford. Who am I thinking of?
Peter
Harness.
Yeah.
Peter Harness killed them. Oh god, no! Kill the Moon. No, please come back. I mean, the Simon
There's some
version.
good tension in Kill the Moon if the actual moon egg thing doesn't work.
I like it. I think it's great.
I like it apart from... I get the moon egg thing as a cop-out, but I think there's some really good bits in it. And I like the argument at the end. I think that gives the season a lot of thrust, which it needs. But I do understand why people don't like it. I don't think it's the worst episode of whoever. That's the thing as well. Like, you compare something like Kill the Moon to this, I'd watch Kill the Moon over this any day of the week.
I bet you could like probably just put like a heart monitor on us during that, and like our pulses would just slowly be numbing because of how boring.
Well,
that was.
whenever I sit next to you, my heart's racing, so that's incorrect.
Well, we better end the episode soon.
Kiss me, Chris. It's what they want.
I really hope we have fans who've like maybe written that in fan fiction. If you do, send it in. Send it in, please. I mean, the fact that we had to spend 2 minutes of this off-topicing about Crazy Frog probably says that there wasn't a lot to talk about this week. The episode was, to use our rating system, it wasn't even skimmed. You know what? This
was an empty carton of milk.
No, you know what? That's insulting to cartons.
Yeah, you know what? They do a lot for us. They hold the milk for us to drink.
Yeah, you know what it is? You know what it is, right? I'm in Tesco, and I'm picking up a bottle of milk, and it's skimmed anyway, because I'm desperate. I drop it on the floor, it bursts open, and then someone walks past and licks the milk off the floor. It's floor milk.
Sounds pretty hot.
Oh, well, it's floor milk. That's my rating. That's my rating. Thus one's for proving that our rating system is utterly incomprehensible. For me this week, it's floor milk.
Floor milk. Okay, yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got hair in it, and you know, no one's cleaned the floor in years. It's just despicable. It's not even like white milk. It's like tainted and dirty. I think we got it, didn't we? We didn't need to go too much further into it.
No, I imagine the doors are closing now.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Full Fat Videos YouTube channel.